All right, and we're live. It's official, ladies and gentlemen. The ports are gonna crash your investments. It's time to sell now. It's just like what I don't even know why we're talking about this, but we're gonna talk about why you obviously need to sell everything right now because it's over. Might as well just give up on Pokemon investing.
Dude, you
But
saw that guy's face. Like, he's not joking. He will cripple the economy, our investments. This is very clearly related to Pokemon.
Pokemon's level
Um,
0.
yeah, I mean, dude, it's almost like I said, it's just like a Captain Planet of situations. We got the hurricanes, we got that guy and his ports, we got the presidential election. Like, when all of that combines, it creates this like just Pokemon investment doomsday scenario.
You know, that's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. But before we jump into today's discussion, obviously make sure you leave a like, comment down below, subscribe. Really helps the channel. And if you're interested in getting access to Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon Magic at wholesale prices, make sure to check the link down in the description below. Actually, wait a second. I'm gonna have to switch that over because we're switching over to the new site. I'll have to put up a new link. But message me if you're interested in being a part of the program. But yeah, I mean. Listen, I mean, Alex, do you want to kind of start off with what kind of inspired today's thumbnail?
What?
I mean, well, you were telling me just before stream that you've had a lot of comments in your most recent video about everyone.
Yeah, I posted a video. I posted a video this morning around 10 o'clock, and I've had multiple comments already about how I think the port situation is going to affect the Pokemon investing space. It's just like anything that happens in the world, it'll be like, hey, Iran fired missiles at this country. How's that going to affect my Pokemon investments? Or, like there was a typhoon in Japan. Do you think our Pokemon investments are safe? Like, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's a little overblown, to say the least. I do not understand. I mean, it makes sense from like a human psychology perspective. Everyone is constantly like I mean, it's like anything. I don't know if you've experienced someone like being on an investment, and I'm guilty of this. I don't do it anymore, but like it'll be like, all right, gotta check my phone. How's my stock? Oh, it's up 1% on the day. But it's like, dude, it's not gonna go up or down like crazy. And yet it's always like a force of habit for people to constantly go in and like try and over exaggerate or over stress about something that is so insignificant that it's not like the fact that this is a topic is crazy. Like, I can understand from like a worldwide perspective like how it could potentially affect things, but to put it on such a granular level that like this is going to be a direct correlation to the Pokemon market is insane to me.
Yeah, and you should have added something in. Then when you see your stock up's 1%, you immediately sell. 100%. And you take that gain.
And you put in Pokemon.
No, I mean, I don't know if people. I think people are just looking for a reason to almost jump ship or a reason to not believe in it. It's almost like when things are good, people want them to be bad. Like they want to be in a state of like desperation or turmoil, or it's like. It's almost like the human brain doesn't like when things are like going well. And I think that's all. People are just looking for the next thing that will cause a next downturn in the market because things are good right now. And so I think that's really all it is. It's the addiction to negativity.
I mean, it's just human nature, right? It's just, I mean, it's if you look at the news, the happy articles are never going to get the same amount of clicks anyway, right? Like it's always the negativity, it's always the fear mongering, it's always the panic. And so it's like, I don't know, people's natural inclination is to start like, oh my God, this is going to affect me in some way. When in reality, it's like, why are we even talking about this? Like, like I said, it could affect other parts of the US, but it's not going to, it's not going to affect Pokemon in my mind.
Yeah. And then, it's, this is the time of year. Obviously, it's reprint season, and there's legitimate reprints, and then there's the rumors. And I think that probably the most recent rumor that we all remember was Evolving Skies. Anyone that's been around the hobby for a couple of years now, Evolving Skies had reprints, but there was always this like rumor afterwards that there was another reprint coming. It was always coming, right? and it kept people like in fear long enough, and then eventually the price shot up, and everyone realized, oh wait, we're not getting a reprint, and it just kept going up and away, and a lot of people missed out on it. And I think the same thing is going to happen in Scarlet and Violet. Is we're going to be told there's reprints coming for this stuff forever, and then even when reprints come, people are still not going to believe it and think, oh, well, there's going to be more coming and more coming. And, there's already reprints swirling around like Japanese 151. There's more reprints coming for that. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But I just caution everyone to like, don't let your emotions lead you in this stuff. It's going to lead to a bad day. You're going to have a bad time.
Yeah, this is not, I don't know. Like I said before, we'll see what ends up coming of the market. But on to more important things to obviously discuss, what's going on with Pokemon. Have you seen what's happened with Paldea Evolved booster box prices on TCG Player?
I have not. What are they at now?
I honestly, I mean, not really anything crazy has happened so far from what we're seeing. So, I mean, I remember hearing from some people in the wholesale program, they have their own distributors, and they basically were like, yeah, I haven't heard anything in terms of supply coming onto the market. And they had the same distro as I did. And so, I know that you and I were talking about this before stream, that one of the other distros has put it on open order. We don't know if there's a limit, or, I mean, it's a pretty big program. We'll see if they limit us. But if you're looking at prices, it's 145 currently. It hasn't really moved the needle at all. So I don't know. I'll be interested to see what happens over the next couple of weeks. But since we last discussed, nothing's really happened.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It's a super small reprint. There was a lot of money on the sidelines waiting for this to happen to move into it. Every time they do drop any amount of boxes, like, I don't even like to talk about it because I hate how the market is, right? Because the open market is TCG Player and eBay. I know a lot of you guys here, you're super deep and you're shopping around a million different sites and, oh, I found it here for this, here for that. That's not the market price. The market price is eBay and TCG Player. If you found some random site that had it less, then you got a deal. But that's not what the price is. The price is 140 to 145. Could you found it in like a Safari Zone or some of these other sites? Sure, right? But other than like finding deals at those sites, which again, anyone that bought those, they got sold out very quickly. It hasn't dropped in price at all. I'm looking at TCG Player. It's still 145 a box. Let me look at sold listings. It is, yeah, I mean, yesterday we had multiple sales at 144.99, 144.98, like multiple sales the last few days. So it is selling at 145 a box. I mean, that's your data. I mean, it's just, there'll be deals here and there. You might want to jump on them. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of those pop up.
By chance, did you see what Safari Zone sold?
Yeah, I actually picked some up. I got them as low as, I believe they were $720 a case when I bought them, and then they jumped back up to like $775 a case, and I think they sold out again.
So 720, basically, what's that, 120 a unit?
Yes.
I mean, it's not bad, but like, yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it just goes to show the demand just for a $25 discount on this box. Like, people are taking it as quickly as it comes. So it's just indicative of where we are in the market. There's just such a heightened amount of demand still, even at high prices. Like, we're not even having a conversation. And that's why we didn't have that conversation last week, right? About pricing going into sub 100 or low 100s. It was a question of 115, 120. And that's obviously market price, not even talking, price of what you can pick it up at Safari Zone. So it'll be, it's at, some people are saying it's at 130 right now on Safari. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, here's another thing I think that's worth discussing. We are in reprint season currently, and so now we're going to start to come out of the woodworks of like conversation of just a bunch of other products more than likely getting reprinted. We don't have any, at least I don't have any full-on confirmations of that. I think it's worth discussing because Alex and a couple of other people have brought it up, that Danny Phantom made a most recent video saying that there's word from his distributor about reprints potentially coming for a bunch of the other booster box sets. Now, as far as I know, like I said before, I haven't heard any word from my distributors on it yet. They're usually really good about notifying me about this kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, I just think that it's not really that surprising to me because this is just 2021 kind of repeating itself, or 2022, or I should say 2023 more specifically, repeating itself because it's just booster boxes getting dumped onto the market. So we'll see if I get any sort of updates, hopefully within the next week. I mean, from what at least Danny has said, you watched the full video, right, Alex?
I didn't watch it. No, I just had people told me what was being said. I guess I think he was saying something about Obsidian and Paradox and Temporal. And you know how it is. Like any regular like content creator, I would just kind of blow it off like, oh, more rumors. But Danny actually does have access to distribution and things like that. So I put a little more weight on what he says.
Right. No, 100%. Yeah, we'll have to kind of keep everyone posted on that, but I haven't heard anything so far.
Yeah.
So, but Paradox, I mean, Paradox is so readily available at distribution right now, like $86 a box at wholesale. So it's, I don't know. I mean, I can see them doing it, but if they do, like, holy crap, Paradox Market's going to take an absolute nosedive. And then I think Obsidian's been holding pretty well on market, though. I will
It's been
say
doing
that.
very well. It's actually performing quite good.
I mean, it just goes back to it. As much as we hate these sets, Charizard sets, dude, it's one of those things that's so funny as like a card shop owner. Like, I always want to make sure I'm taking care of people, and so like people ask me for like my honest opinion. And so if someone like asks about Obsidian Flames, I'll always like tell them like the set sucks. Go get Twilight. But then it'll be like someone will be like, "Yeah, can I get some Obsidian?" And I'm like, "Oh, you want Obsidian?" Like, it's almost one of these things where I'm like stunned to see people ask for Obsidian. But here's the deal. Our fastest selling box in the shop, other than Twilight and Stellar, is Obsidian. Like, Obsidian sold out really fast for us in shop. So I don't know, man. It's a Charizard effect, I guess. People still want it, even though it's not a crazy hitter.
Yeah. Hey, if anyone in the chat, if anyone's like an artist out there, I'd love a shirt, like a shirt design made, say reprint season, and just have like people running like being terrified by like the Pokemon company like putting more product on the market. I think it'd be a good shirt, like, especially with Halloween coming up.
Reprint season just gets all the shirts out.
I mean, here's the thing, like. I'm just trying to figure out like if the market's strong enough to absorb reprints and how large are the reprints, right? Because realistically, the market's really strong right now. Obviously, a lot of money is going into surging, and so people are waiting for Team Rocket and now the Evolution set they're really excited about. But at the same time, a lot of people that were sitting on the sidelines wait for reprints, and when they come, that's when a lot of your investors start to load up heavy positions. And so that's why a lot of times the reprints disappear very fast, like we saw with Silver and Lost and those things. And so, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to think about like how it's all gonna play out.
Yeah, I'm anticipating that the reprints are going to continue to come. I guess the big question is to what scale, right? Because I mean, we already kind of knew this was gonna happen, but like Terrestrial Festival once again has been teased on Poke Beach in terms of that being our set that's going to release on January 17th, right? It's going to release in the States in like December 6th, I think is what they said. And so I know that we've obviously got Surging coming up, and then we've got Gloria Team Rocket. So it really begs the question, how much are they going to allocate to reprints and how much are they allocating to high demand sets? Because I mean, let's be real here. Surging right now, like I said before, in the wholesale program, we've got like 4,000 booster boxes that people requested. And I had made another post, or Alfred made another post for us, basically saying like, hey, for those of you guys that are interested, if you want to confirm allocation numbers in case you get cut because the demand is so high for Surging, Distro 2, our other distro, has them on open order currently. It's an extra like $4.50 more, but at least it confirms it. the demand is so high for the set that we've already had like over 150 booster boxes ordered for it. So it's like, it just goes to show you that people are still willing to pay slightly more to confirm their numbers, because surging right now, I mean, TCG player, I think it's at like 120 still, if I'm correct. Last time I checked, I'll have to double check right now just to see, but like 118 it looks like is what it's going for. So I mean, the demand is so high. So I don't know where that kind of leaves us with, dumping the market, but knowing Pokemon, I don't know. It's very unlike them to not at least have one or two sets that they're going to print a ton of. So far, we haven't seen anything crazy. Like the reprints we've gotten have been tiny. So who knows?
You don't by any chance have like a case of Paldea there, do you?
What do you mean there?
From the reprint?
No, it's at the shop.
You should let me know if it says the not for sale before this date, or if it doesn't have that, and that way we'll know if it's a reprint or a restock. I know people have been worried about that. They've been saying it all over, the internet. Like, this isn't a reprint. This is a restock. It's, it's like, well, I guess we'll know when the cases come in what they actually say, because if it's not printed the whole like not for sale before a certain date, those are usually always the reprint boxes, and so we'll see if it was just a reprint or a restock then.
Yeah. I mean, we've begun the process of shipping it out to people as of like 3 days ago, I think. I think we shipped it out last Friday or Thursday. I can't recall. So it's like most people in the program should have already received it. So if anyone's already gotten theirs and has a statement they want to make on the box, that'd be definitely helpful. But I can definitely keep everyone posted when I go to the shop later today. But yeah, no. It all just goes back to the same old thing, right? Just continued speculation of what's going to happen within the market. Is there realistically an opportunity that's going to be relevant to us at a potential lower price based off of what is going to come within the reprint season? Time will tell, but history will show that there's always typically reprints around this time, and usually one or two items is dumped. I mean, not to kind of reiterate myself over and over, but 2023, it was Crown Zenith 151, Lost Origin Silver Tempest. 2021 was just about every single Sword and Shield booster box except for Base and Rebel. And 2022 was an anomaly, but that was because we're switching over from yellow to silver borders. So, and 2020 was Unified Minds, Unbroken Bonds, and then Cosmic was supposed to be a part of that, but it got canceled because of COVID, and so they just put the loose packs and other miscellaneous products. So it's like we have a history of it.
Yeah.
But someone says they got a box for 120 and it had a not for release. Yeah, right.
It says it on the case, guys. Like, it would read it on the label.
We're trolling already.
Yeah. I don't do it. Here's the funniest part, right? Here's what I love about it. And this is not to put anyone down. Like, whenever I make statements like this, people think I'm trying to put people down for not have as much money or not putting, whatever it may be. But I found the people who really dive in and worry the most about all this stuff are usually the ones who actually like collect the least or spend the least in the hobby. Like, it's the people who buy like a box or like they buy like a couple cards are the ones that are always the most worried about short-term market fluctuations. It's very weird, right? It's like you would think the people who have more of their money at risk and at stake, they would be a lot more worried about it, and they aren't. Like the people I talk to that have like large positions, they're not worried in the slightest. Goes up, goes down, doesn't affect their mood, doesn't make them all emotional. And I don't know why exactly that is. I really don't.
Probably because of mindset of where they're looking at their investments. I mean, that's kind of what I would guess. I mean, people that probably have heavy bags presumptuously have probably accumulated those bags over a long period of time. It's not like they just started off with a $50,000 investment. It probably started off small. And so because of that, they've kind of experienced it and they've matured within the market, and or it's because they have a more long-term mindset, if I would guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's something like that, but I have noticed that it's very, very apparent that there's a very big kind of like difference in mindset between like, how much you allocate to the hobby compared to how emotional you get about every little thing. And then to respond to Craig, no. So EU, all the stuff that goes over in there, or other countries, different distributors, they have different products. I mean, there were times here where uh, Lost Origin and Silver Tempest were in stock, and then in UK it was like Fusion Strike and Chilling Reign were in stock, but they weren't in stock here, and those boxes weren't in stock there, and it's completely different markets. I mean, sometimes the disparities are large enough where you maybe can make some arbitrage plays and like ship them overseas and make a profit, but a lot of the time it's still not enough to be worth shipping cases across seas and paying import charges and all that. So it just is what it is. The markets are completely kind of separate. I actually had listen to this, guys. So, and it was all confirmed. He sent all the documentation. I just want to reach out to me. eBay is actually giving UK sellers right now up to 300 listings with no fees each month right now.
What?
300 eBay listings and he even sent me screenshots of his sales, and they are literally zero fees. It's just shipping is what he's paying for. So wow. It seems like eBay is trying to drive up, kind of drum up business in the foreign markets too. So it's like, yeah, there's a lot of things different that happen, outside of the US with like products, distributors, different selling platforms. Like, so you can never compare like the two markets. They're separate.
Dang, that's crazy.
I know. I was surprised. And then I looked up and realized, oh, it's just for them, not for us.
Bunch of haters, man. What's up with that?
They are. Remember when eBay used to give eBay bucks all the time, and they never do that anymore?
I do remember that. That
don't
was
care
a
about
while
us.
ago. Man, that was so long ago. Holy crap.
They just care. They just know we're going to spend money no matter what here in the U.S. So
what a bunch of suckers we are.
Consumerism culture, bro.
I mean, my thing is with overseas is, especially having experienced it within the program, it's so tough because each country is different. They're going to have their own different, way customs handles things. They're going to have their own import taxes. They're going to have, so many different variables at play. So it's something where, and same goes with distribution, right? They have their own line of distribution where they deal with things separate from the US. So we kind of disregard it when it comes to the market, at least because we're speaking from the perspective of, the US investor or Pokemon investor, I should say.
The Pokemon investor.
That's us, baby. But yeah, I mean, Terrestrial Festival, I mean, we're obviously, like I said before, we already kind of knew it was confirmed. It's kind of being teased that it's going to be a more legendary heavy set along with the evolutions. That's obviously exciting. And then in terms of market price, have you been watching Stellar Crown's performance, by the way?
Somewhat. I mean, it's kind of just sticking around the kind of mid to higher 100s, right?
I mean, it's 108 right now on TCG Player. And in terms of the overall price of like the cards, at least the top ones, right? The Terapagos is still above 100 currently. Squirtle's still at 40. Bulbasaur's still at 30. The biggest thing that has taken a dip is definitely the Lisi. But like realistically, the cards that we anticipated, or at least I anticipated to be expensive past the Lisi, they so far have still been holding up fairly well. I mean, Galvantula obviously took a huge dive. Hydrapple has taken a little bit of a hit, but the singles for the like big hitters, I mean, to be fair, Terapagos does have competitive playability aspect, but I feel like one thing a lot of people don't really take into consideration is the fact that although we'll put some stock in the fact that it's a competitive card, I don't put as much stock as some people may, because at least coming from a local shop perspective, I don't know the last time I had someone call for the rainbow version of that card. I get calls on the daily of people looking for the standard to put in their deck. So the demand for the individual card itself is way higher compared to the secret rare. So it's like, I don't know, but and on top of that too, like at least in the store, Stellar Crown sales are incredible. It sells so quickly in the shop. So it's nice to see that Stellar performance has been great. And even in the wholesale program, right? Because we have a ton still readily available at $88 before shipping and fees. And it's like, it's selling, like it's still moving. Like I would say as a program, we're probably up to about 2,800 booster boxes sold for Stellar at this point. So it's like, we've been really burning through Stellar boxes.
I think like, you know how people have always had unrealistic expectations with their investing in Pokemon? Like, you know, you can look back at like some of these sets, like look at Silver Tempest. People will tell you, like they'll straight up tell you right to your face, yeah, Silver Tempest is a crappy investment right now. It's like, dude, that set is not even 2 years old. It's like 2 years old next month. And it's up 70% for if you bought it $100. If you bought under $100, you're up like 80%. In 2 years, where else are you freaking making that? And I think that's now spilled over to sets. People like now look at sets and they have these unrealistic expectations of how great the set will be, and they have an unrealistic vision of like what a set needs for the set to do well. It's like, oh, it just doesn't have enough in it. It's like, dude, it's got the Terapagos. It's like the top rarity that everyone wants, right? It's got the Squirtle and Bulbasaur. Guys, go look at Paldea Evolved. Magikarp, Tyranitar, and Raichu. Go look at the Groudon Paradox Rift. Go look at Eevee. Like, go look at these other IRs and what they sell for. Now, Squirtle and Bulbasaur are definitely going to be higher than most all of those. If they're all going for $30, $40, $50, where do you think the Squirtle and Bulbasaur usually are probably going to end up? Probably between $30, $40 to $50, if not more. And it's just like, yeah, and then it's got some other stuff thrown in there. You got the waifu, you got some other cool cards. It's like, it's got enough. It's not going to be Evolving Skies level, but it's got enough to perform well, sell, be opened. I think people just have these wacky expectations, and these sets are never going to live up to your expectations. They're just not.
I mean, we can see what makes Twilight and what makes Paldea stand out, right? You obviously have the Greninja card that's going for almost $300 a box, right? You've got the Eevee that goes for 45, the Carmine that goes for like 90. So like you have these expensive cards, and justifiably so, that is propping up the price of the box. And then same thing goes with Paldea Evolved and the Magikarp and the Iono. So it's like you can see where these prices are coming from, but like once you go past the sets that have the big chases, it starts to be a lot smaller of a spread, right? Like if we look at temporal boxes compared to Obsidian is slightly more expensive. I mean, the same if you want to be more conservative price-wise as Temporal, which a lot of people would argue Temporal is a significantly better set than Obsidian. There's a lot more high-end, like valuable cards to get there. But the thing that Temporal lacks, in my personal opinion, same goes with Paradox, is there isn't like that singular chase card within the sets. Like you can get a card that's upwards of like $80, $70, but you're not pulling a card that's going for like 120, 150, 200 plus. And that's kind of what people enjoy chasing after within a set. So at the end of the day with Stellar, right now, the box itself is holding up its value because of the Terapagos. I mean, if the Terapagos tanked, then I feel like there would be at least some form of correlation with that. But even then, like Alex was just saying, it doesn't really take much with these sets to perform extremely strong, because even then, Obsidian, with having a measly $40 chase, it's still, like I said before, as expensive as Temporal. So I think it only really starts to matter in terms of upward trajectory when it comes to having a more expensive chase card.
Yeah, I mean, you know, just what's happened with Obsidian, like Obsidian, no real chase, right? Darkness Ablaze, perfect example. There's no chase. Zero. Got like when I say zero, I mean legitimately zero.
$40, $45.
No, oh no, way worse than that. Way worse.
Way worse?
So Darkness Ablaze Charizard.
Oh, you're talking Darkness. Sorry, I thought you said Obsidian. Yeah, Darkness.
Yeah, it's a 20. It is a like $25 card. In a PSA 10, it's worth less than $80. And the box is selling for $155. Guys, we've got Astral Radiance selling in the 160s. We've got Silver Tempest selling in the 160s. Darkness Ablaze is selling for within $10 of those alt art sets. I mean, there's no chase. It's like, so people just put so much emphasis on these chase cards when over time it just doesn't matter. You've literally got Lost Origin, Brilliant Stars. I think even Chilling Reign and Fusion Strike dropped down close to 200, but they're a little more. But like Brilliant Stars, Astral Radiance, Silver Tempest, Lost Origin, Darkness Ablaze, Vivid Voltage, like all of these sets are within like $50 of each other. Like just about $50 difference. And it's just like people just put so much emphasis on all this stuff. Because I think, and we talked about it before, I think people just need to like feel active. they need to feel like they're doing something, like they're doing research, like they're making decisions based on something, like they're following the cards and the charts. They need to be active. I just don't think this hobby is really inducive of like creating a passive investing environment. Like I feel like a lot of people will throw money in their 401k and not look at it for like at all. Like they'll get their statements and they'll be like, oh, I'm up 8% this quarter, awesome. But they'll never actually dive in and look at the investments and how the stocks are performing. They just don't do that. But with Pokemon, it's just one of those things where people want to be so active with it and check every day and worry about this and that card and this. And it's just like, in the end, it just really doesn't matter as much as you make it out.
Well, I mean, speaking of investments, when talking about Fusion Strike, have you been watching the price of the Fusion Strike booster box, or
Where is
just
it at
some
now?
of the
I
Fusion
know it
Strike?
came down to near 200.
It did. So it was at its high of 245, and now it's down to 210. Like
Yeah.
not a crazy drop, but still 15%.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at what's happened with some of the singles, like the Espeon, for example, dude, the Espeon was selling for it was selling for 345 back in June of this year, right? So literally 4 months ago now. It is now selling lowest listed on TCG Player near mint condition with a verified star seller 185. It is retraced, I think, what is that, 45%? Like, that is crazy to witness. So, like, if you guys are firm believers in like alt arts long term, I'm just saying, like, that's a crazy thing to witness with some of the pricing.
I released a video 2 days ago saying I think alt arts are buys right now.
Dude, the Celebi is going for 45, or it was going for 45 around the same time. It's now selling for lowest listed at like 25. Like, that's also a really good price. So these alt art cards are starting to take a dive. I mean, I know the Gengar, obviously, funny enough with the Gengar, held up but didn't hold up. It was going for 400. Now it's selling in like the threes. I'll actually double check and see what the lowest listed for it is. Yeah, it's like holding up a little bit stronger at 325, but it's the Gengar.
You know what
But
you gotta
it's
love?
like,
The Umbreon is still rising.
I mean, I believe it. It makes sense to me.
It had a pullback and now it's like it's right back up. It's just that Umbreon. I don't care how much population it has. It's just gonna defy all logic.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a real serious question for you, and I'm curious to get what your take is on this. How much stock do you put in strength of investment when it comes to Altar VMAXs versus Vs? Like, how much does that matter to you realistically?
Less than the Pokemon on the card.
Like, are you like? I guess what I'm saying, if hypothetically speaking, let's say there's a VMAX card that's retraced 50% and a V card that's retraced 50%. Is it matter to you really that much on whether the card's a V versus a VMAX, or does it care more about the character to you?
Oh, look, I put more stock in the character. I mean, obviously it's a card by card basis, but yeah, I would put more stock in the character.
I guess I asked that question because like you've got the Mew V card, which Mew is obviously a fan favorite character, right? And the price is retraced from $60 all the way down to $30 for the standard V card, which in my opinion is really, really low considering the card, right? Whereas the VMAX version has retraced from $100 all the way down to about $74. So the VMAX is not retraced as much,
Yeah,
but the V has. And so it's like when I look at that, I almost prefer the V because I just see it as such a better opportunity because I first and foremost like the V artwork more. And then two, it's much cheaper to where you're able to pick up, a 2-for-1 in terms of the overall card. So
yeah. I mean, yeah, Mew's far up there enough. Like, I don't know how deep you can go into the sets for where people are actually going to want to, like, I mean, I don't know if people are ever going to want to go back and collect all like the smaller alt arts, like the Skuntanks and the, all that stuff.
I think they will. I mean, it's not going to obviously be like, they're not going to perform like crazy. Like no one's going to be like, oh my God, Santakana goes for $100. Like that's not really a thing. But if we look at like the worst performing tag team cards within, I mean, they still moved. Like
You
it's
know what
not
I'm
like
gonna
they
do?
sat
I'm
dead.
gonna put my money where my mouth is in a video. Because I truly believe this, and we're gonna see. I think there's a very strong possibility that if you buy the top 10 alt arts, just like sort them out, the top 10 alt arts in Sword and Shield right now, I think they're gonna perform better in the next year than probably pretty much anything.
I believe it.
I think they've dropped enough. I think they've got over. They've got over, kind of hated. And I just think they're gonna have a good, because here's the thing, even if they get back to where they were and break even to what they were at their highs, like you just said, you're gonna have like 30, 40, 50% moves or whatever they are. And
Yeah.
I just don't know if we're gonna see a lot of 30, 40, 50% moves from a lot of other things in the next year. Because Scarlet Violet, if more reprints come, it's going to take a little time for it to get going. Like maybe we do. Maybe we see, some things. Maybe Paldea ends up, hitting the high hundreds, $200 a box. Maybe, Twilight gets there if it doesn't get reprinted. Maybe 151. But I think the alt arts buying in at these prices, you're going to have a very good chance of outperforming a lot of things on the market in the next year.
1000%.
Yeah.
1000%. No, I agree. I mean, going back and looking at some of the cards that no one cared about during the tag team era, you had like the Alolan Execute, and just the standard Execute, like tag team alt art. You had the Nagandel, hopefully I'm pronouncing that, and the Guzzlord. Those cards, I mean, we're talking like $5 to $10 a pop, and now they're going for like $50. So like, I'm not saying start dumping your money in Santaconas and Stunk Tanks, but what I am saying is like, realistically speaking, if some of these poor ones can perform, I mean, the money that's going to move on like the good ones, like we saw with obviously Latios, and the Arceus, Dialga, Palkia. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I see it at 100% as an opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I like these are the times I like to pick things up. Like I like to pick things up when they're kind of beat up, when everyone's down on them, when they're at like their lows they've been in the year, because that's the time when no one else wants them. You want to be selling when everybody wants them and they're getting scarce and they're hard to find. You want to be buying when they're everywhere and plentiful and nobody wants them.
Yeah. Makes me think more about some of the tag team, or not the tag team, the alt art cards we got in the case at the shop. I'm like, I got to start setting some aside. Set some aside for some long.
Make it. I mean, like for real, I'm thinking about just like making it a case study. I might just do a whole video where I just like buy all of them at the current price point, and then take like one a box of every box I have in like Scarlet Violet, and just like put them in a little time capsule, and then in a year we'll make a video and see which one will perform better.
Yeah, seriously. I don't know. I think we'll know relatively soon. I mean, we've already seen the performance of alternate art cards, and like we saw with tag team cards went up crazy. A lot of them retraced 20 to 30%, and then they just went up like back to their all-time highs. So I think we're going to see a kind of resurgence of that, with just alt arts following the same pattern, especially too once we get past the point of like Scarlet and Violet going out of rotation and it being a new era. Dude, it's gonna the sentimental vibes of like Sword and Shield are gonna be even crazier. Because right now, like Sun and Moon cards are just, I mean, they're peaking. A lot of them are, and
Yep.
we're in Scarlet and Violet, so we're one set removed between the Sun and Moon era. So if we were to be in Gen, what would that be, 10? I guess at that point, it's like
That's
you
what I
could
want to
see the
talk
same
about. I
thing
want to
happen
talk
with
about Gen
Marshall.
10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you excited?
Very excited.
Dude, I've already pre-ordered it.
I've actually already started to like come up with. I've already tried to like think about the set names and what they're going to be named, and like I've already tried to like line out what Pokemon are going to be in which one. I go really far with that. I map it all out in this big like journal that I have. It's great.
You've got like one of those boards that has like the strings attaching like all the conspiratorial names that you assume are gonna be.
That's what I do.
Pokemon. This
That's exactly what I do,
something.
man.
This means something. That's so funny. But yeah, no, I don't know, man. Alt arts just seem like a good bet. They just seem like a really good bet, at least in the long term. But yeah, 2027 is gonna go crazy. We're at about 40 minutes now. So this is usually about the time of the video where we start answering your guys' questions. So if anyone has any questions about things you want us to discuss, make sure to leave it
I do
down in the
wanna
comment section
say something
below.
to Abraham. He said, "Question: Good play to sell off lower performing BBs from Sun and Moon and XY and put the money in SNV and Sword and Shield alt arts." Here's what I'm gonna say, man. All right, this is just one person, one data point, but I put out an Instagram story post and I had friends share it for me. I put a post out in my Discord, both Discords, right? And added everyone, made sure it was shared. It was seen by tons of people, right? And the post literally said, paying up to 90% for any XY and Sun and Moon booster boxes. Guess how many people reached out to me?
0.
Nobody. And think about it. If you sell it yourself on eBay, you're only clearing about like 86.5% after fees and then and shipping. So no one reached out to me and wanted to sell their boxes to a trusted source that I'm going to pay them right away. They don't talk about getting scammed, right? At 90% of market. So that gives you an idea of how much people are holding on to these or how few people actually have those boxes, which could mean something going forward. So I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't know.
Definitely something worth considering.
It is.
Make sure, guys, leave a like, comment down below. Definitely helps the channel, and hit that subscribe button. And then if you're interested in joining the wholesale program, message me on Discord to get access to Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! At wholesale pricing and other TCGs. Important question. Where here's a really important question.
Is it serious?
This is the super serious question, Alex.
Pizza all day.
The super serious question.
Pizza all day, baby.
Pizza all day.
Any kind of pizza too. Take the thin crust, the hand tossed, the deep dish. I don't care.
I'd probably say pizza as well. I have tacos more than I do pizza, but you know, that's for other reasons. My wife is not exactly fond of gluten, sadly. I don't have pizza as much as often as I would like.
You can get the cauliflower crust, bro.
Yeah, we did find one place that's got good but she just doesn't really like pizza that much, which is also kind of a tragedy. But that, to be fair, if all you're eating is like cauliflower crust pizza, it kind of gets old pretty easily, you know, which I don't partake in that. I'll get my own pizza, but it's like, I'm not going to order pizza unless I'm getting it with her, like, you know, a group of people. That's the funny thing. Like, this sounds weird, like weird thing to say, but tacos are like, I feel like a dish you could get by yourself, but pizza, I feel like if you get a pizza, you're usually getting it with a group of people. Like, I don't know. I mean, you get a slice of pizza, but I feel like that's a very specific like thing to certain joints. Like, or at least in the local area, there's not a ton of places I know of that sell by the slice.
Yeah.
Such a random question.
Was Twilight printed less than other sets like Paradox Rift, or is it more popular? It seemed like it would be gone very quickly. What do you think, Eli?
I would say that it depends on how you look at it, because when we had small, tiny reprints for Brilliant and, you know, resupply, reprint, whatever you want to call it, for Brilliant and Lost Origin boosters, in order to pick those up, you had to pick up Paradox Rift boosters, right? Same goes for some of the other high demand items that they've recently tried putting more supply of onto the market. So I guess it begs the question to ask, is that product that Pokemon is trying to push onto the market, and so therefore Paradox has more supply? Or is that old inventory that distro is trying to move? I think it's the first, personally, because Pokemon loves to bundle and then distributors usually just pass it off to us. And so Paradox has been like the number one set, I swear, that has been tied to the most amount of bundles.
Well, and the flip side of that too, right? Like when they had the Twilight Masquerade bundle, the only way you could get those cases where you take a bunch of other product you don't want. So it's like,
yeah, and
Paradox was used.
Paradox was one of it.
Yeah, Paradox was used to be one of the bundle items you don't want. Twilight was used as one of like the, you know, the bait items that you had to take all the junk to get. So
yeah,
I don't know.
So it makes more sense to me that Paradox has been printed more. than Twilight. I mean, it's not that necessarily Twilight is like super scarce, because we did have, like Alex was just, saying, a, reprint or a small, like, other wave of Twilight come out. But in order to pick it up, you had to pick up Paradox booster boxes at the same exact time. So plus the demand is just significantly higher for Twilight than Paradox. So it's like there's multiple different things to take into consideration with that.
Yeah,
Um,
RD Paldea is available at distro too, but and yeah, it's a little over 120 a box, but that's before that, maybe before fees. I don't know. Fees may be
it's
included
before,
in that.
if you're looking on the actual website, it is before fees.
So that's before fees and before shipping. So, if you get them for 125, 130, that's basically what market is. I mean, I
I
don't
mean,
see these. I don't
it's
see
10
these
below
dropping.
market on TCG, but yeah, it's
I
like,
just
I don't
don't
know.
see these like getting crushed. I don't see it happening.
Um, Super random question. What do you think of non-hollow Umbreon V variant from the starter Playdex?
I don't even know.
I mean, I've never even seen the card itself, I guess.
Is it like an error? I'm guessing, or is it like a
Non-hollow Umbreon.
dude? Yeah, I don't know all like the crazy variants that are out there these days.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I could.
I was in a conversation. I was in a conversation when 151 came out. With they're called HD Swirl Energies, and the dude he was sending me all these pictures of them like side by side with the regular ones, and I kid you not, I wasn't even like being an asshole. I was looking at both of them. I'm like, dude, I can't tell a difference. But like for others, they saw like something different. This is like an HD swirl, and they were paying like crazy multiples online for it. This hobby's crazy what people go after, man.
They make good pieces in Missouri. People are asking.
I mean, it's like anywhere else, right? They got New York style, they got deep dish, they got hand tossed, whatever you're looking for. I don't know if there's like a Missouri style. We just have good pizza places that are other states' styles, I would say, but they're good.
Is this question directed towards me? I think it is. As a card shop owner, is it better to have sets in stock to attract more customers? Would you consider a consignment buyback program along with wholesaling? So question number 1, is it better to have older sets in stock to attract more customers? To a certain extent, right? Like your gold stars and your shinings, those are always going to be gold. But realistically, like once you start getting in between like the, the EXs and the level X's and the black and white cards, at least in the shop, most people don't really care for that. What I've seen more popular is going back to WotC. We have a lot of people come in and ask questions about WotC cards if you're talking about older. But realistically speaking, I mean, my big thing is like newer stuff sells like really, really well, right? That's just kind of how it is because there's a lot more modern collectors. Anything from Sun and Moon and newer is what sells the best by far. And then in terms of like some of the older higher end item cards we have in the shop, we will definitely have some that we anticipate are not going to move, but it's less for the aspect of like, oh, we have these high end cards so that people can buy them. It's like, no, we have these high end cards so that people can talk about our shop having these high end cards, you know? So it's like we've got really, really rare collection boxes in the shop. We've got some really rare singles in the shop that you won't see too often. Most people can't afford them because they're going for like $5,000, upwards of $1,000 for the singles or the boxes. So realistically, it's just like for the show of it all. I mean, we have had, funny enough, we did have some vintage like packs come in of First Ed Jungle, and they literally sold within the day. So like WotC stuff still sells really well. And then what I consider a buyback program along with wholesaling, uh, at some point it would definitely be something worth doing, but we're just not in the position where it makes the most sense in my mind to do that in terms of consignment, just because although although in theory consignment sounds nice, if we have a lot of the same product in our shop, then we're all of a sudden competing with people that are consigning, right? If it was like a certain product that we don't have in the shop and someone was like specifically wanting that item and they weren't going to purchase anything otherwise, like then it makes more sense. But even then, I just don't think the shop is there yet in terms of like having a real good like following yet. I mean, we're going to try and set up at some card shows and then from there see how we can push getting a lot more traction. I mean, the shop's doing well, but it's not like a name that everyone just knows within the valley, and that's kind of what we're wanting to get set for before we start to actually do consignment. I feel like okay, I'm going to parlay this question. So, Chicago style, New York style, Detroit style, what's the other one? What's the popular in Connecticut? What's it called? New Haven.
Oh yeah.
And then what's the last one I'm missing? It's like an in between of
Well, here in Missouri, we got
is it Sicilian? Is that what it's called?
yeah, Sicilian. I mean, here in Missouri, we got thin crust. So like this is where like the thin style square cut was like started.
So is that your favorite style?
No, I'm so I visited New York and Connecticut, so I was able to have all the pizzas. I had a lot of the Dave Portnoy joints.
Oh,
and
there you go.
I actually I'm not on board with Dave, man. I actually liked New York better than New Haven. We stopped at some of those places in New Haven and got them, and I liked some of the ones I got in New York better, actually.
Yeah, so you don't like New Haven?
No, I mean it's great. Don't get me wrong. I not like it, but I think New York edged it out.
You got so defensive, bro. When I
dude, I just it wasn't bad. It was not bad. I would never say it's bad. It was New York edged it out. It's like good versus great type thing.
I mean, so what specifically do you like better about New York than New Haven?
I mean, it's really not a lot different. I don't know, man. I just think I guess like the crust was a little better. There's a little more to it. And it's not like all New York pizzas. Like some of the New York was worse. It was like I put some of the best places we had in New York up a little better than New Haven. It's really close though. It's really similar. It's not much different. They're still the big slices. They do have like charred and crunchy crust, and it's not super thick. It's like a hand toss, but not a thick hand toss. I mean, they're both really good.
I mean, I would agree with you. My biggest thing is when it comes to New Haven, it tends to be on the much thinner side, much crispier side. And like, sure, it has that crunch. And if you're you're chasing that crunch, then you're like, oh, this is fantastic. But like realistically, the New York style of pizza, it is still thin, but it's not like you're just biting into crunch the entire time. Like there's still some softness to it. The style of the pizza has more flop as well, which I don't think is bad. I kind of like a little bit of flop. And then on top of that too, the dough itself tends to be like in the middle between like having the crunch on the outside, but doughy on the inside. So that's at least what I like more about New York style personally as well.
We have I really like deep dish too though. Like when I'm in the mood for deep dish, we have really good deep dish place here from Chicago, and they have like locations in Chicago, and then they have a location here, and it's really good. So I mean, but no, if I had to pick one, it'd be New York. But like I said before, man, all pizza's good.
I mean, I definitely don't hate deep dish, but yeah, it's definitely not my go-to. I feel like it's just, I don't know. It's just hard to beat a good New York style.
Is it profitable to slang mystery packs? Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Why do you think everyone does it?
Not in this wholesale program.
I mean, that's why. I mean, guys, the biggest ones, MJ Holdings. I mean, mystery power boxes. Like, they're not in the business to lose money. Like, they're making money off their mystery packs.
I mean, people love mystery packs. That's the thing. Is like people truly enjoy it because it's a chance within a chance. And so like how do I want to say this? Everyone, when they open packs, they're hoping that they're going to get something good, obviously, right? And so if you can get something good without having to open your packs, then that's even better, right? Like that is like it's like a it's like double or nothing basically. You're like, "All right, I even if I don't open my Evolving Skies pack, if I can hypothetically speaking get a mystery pack that ends up being more value than what I spent, I see that as a total win." And they could just from there feel good about it. So, that's how I kind of look at it, especially too when it comes to like going more vintage. If you're going and buying from like legit places, finding a vintage pack that is unweighted and is like really good condition is such a awesome thing to be able to experience. I remember MJ Holding a while ago, they did these like uh buy it was like 5 pack and then you got one random mystery pack and it had a chance of being a vintage. And I remember I went and bought a bunch of them at my local Walmart, and I'm not even kidding you, like the chances of me getting the vintage were like 1 in 5. And so I opened 20 of them and got like 4 vintage packs. And so the packs I got were like I got like a legendary treasures,
Yep.
I got like 2 Arceus packs, and then one other vintage pack. So it was like
I
really
remember
good
those.
odds, and it was fantastic. And I was like, dude, this is great. I'm getting a vintage pack pretty consistently. But like, if you probably did the breakdown, I am paying obviously market for these packs, but it was still worth it in my mind. So it's cool to see stuff like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like, when the casinos, have side bets. It's like, do you want to go play blackjack, or do you want to bet on like the 3 card poker also, or the other side bet? It's just like adding another layer to your betting. It's like you're no longer just opening the packs. Now you're betting on getting a different kind of gamble. It's kind of like when I have things on my stream, like I have random pack nights on my pack break nights where literally I'll just open a whole bunch of booster boxes and I'll seed an old set like an XY or a Sun and Moon set in throughout all the packs. So there'll be like 200 packs total, and then one box of like Sun and Moon in there. So there's like a 1 in whatever 8 chance of getting the pack, and it's just like a secondary gamble, right? It just makes it fun.
Yeah, I mean
This
that's
is entertainment, guys. At the end of the day, that's all this is entertainment, and people pay for entertainment. That's what this is.
Well, that's one of the big things we did with the wholesale program. Once we hit 100 as like a thank you for like people being a part of the program, we offered mystery packs, but we weighted them in their favor. So I lost like I think like 2 or 3 grand from doing it because I just wanted to make it so that people could have fun. And so we had like a 50-50 chance that you were going to get like a gold pack, which was basically like a pack that goes for like $100 or more, or you'd get like a silver, which was anywhere between like a $30 pack to upwards of like a $70 pack. So, and that was that was a ton of fun. Like, obviously it sucks losing money, but like it was something we did as like a thank you to people. And so being able to like put that stuff together. And I think the main hit was like a power keeper pack that was like a heavy that we purchased. So, which that was super cool to see. But yeah, it was a fun time to say the least. But
And
this is
the
a direct.
chargeback stuff. A second part of that question. It just kind of is what it is. I'm out the money. I actually had a police officer call me earlier or last week and kind of keep me updated. It was a person that stole a bunch of credit cards, and they tracked down one of the victims already, like the person who got their credit card stolen. But and they're working through it and they're trying to catch the guy. But it's just I'm not going to get my money back. It doesn't sound like so. It is what it is. You got to move on. Life happens.
Yeah. Um. I'll quickly answer this question. I don't know
Or
why I'm
will
getting
you?
a random call. Right. Um. Are you close to being official Pokemon League star? We're close. The only thing we're running into an issue of right now is we may have to do a slight logo redesign. Apparently, they're having an issue with the Pokeball in center of the O, so we might have to change that before they accept our application. But hopefully, that should get us in. But other than that, we're looming there. We're getting close. We definitely want to start running it as soon as possible. That's for sure. Is there any other?
I don't don't know.
Gambling on
A-OK.
your
I don't know what he's even asking. What do you think? Pokemon put the card dividers inside of the ETB promos for Stellar Crown?
That's a random
I
question.
don't know what that means. Oh, Lance said Paldea Evolve boosters that we got just confirmed first print, aka restock, not a reprint! Exclamation point.
Durr. I don't know how much I. Yeah. I don't know how much weight I put in that. Not the individual, but obviously I trust them. But like how much I put in the stating of that in the boxes, because it's always possible that the Pokemon Company preemptively reprinted and then kept some at their warehouse with the anticipation that they were going to put more supply out. I mean, we truly don't really know, right? All we know is more comes onto the market. You have a sus face. What's going on?
I'm just trying to figure out what he's talking about. The sealed knockdown promo in Stellar Crown ETBs, there's 4 dividers inside of it now? Has there not always been 4 dividers? I'm confused.
They're sealed with the promo packaging.
Oh. I guess that's better. I don't know. I don't know what the question is. Man, I'm sorry. I'm so lost. I'm so lost. Let's stay here. And then for Stellar Crown, they put the ETB. Oh, okay. I understand what you guys are saying. Is that a big deal? Is that bad? Are they coming out like damaged? I'm so confused, guys. I'm sorry. I don't buy ETBs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is Surging Spark the next first edition base set or what? It's the next Evolving Skies, man.
Yeah, I don't understand, I guess, what people are asking about the dividers thing. I'm unfamiliar with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting question.
I'm indifferent.
Yeah. When's the Oh, so funny. I'm trying to see. I'm gonna go back a little bit farther and see if there's a question I can find.
By the way, guys, my eBay store right now, I am selling lots of 50 dividers for multiple sets if you're really looking for dividers.
Jeez Louise. I don't even have dividers. I just throw it all away. I'm not seeing anything crazy in terms of questions at the moment. I
know you guys are boring today. We're all the crazy questions like normal. Usually you have some ridiculous stuff for us to answer.
I know, right?
Today is not the case. I think everyone's just, they saw the ports shut down, and that guy's like making all our
pizza, obviously.
He's making all our investments go to zero.
That was a crazy question.
What
do you mean? Why did everyone jump off Surging? I still think this is gonna. Who's jumped off Surging? I feel like people have still been non-stop talking about Surging.
Here's the problem. There's all these like new random YouTube channels popping up of people that like literally have been in the hobby for like 5 minutes, and they talk about things like they have any idea what they're talking about. And the problem is like they're good at YouTube, so they like make catchy YouTube videos with good editing, and people listen to them.
Is that a thing that's happening more recently?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, you're having people like really, really blow up quick. And it's because they kind of know the YouTube game, editing game and all that, but they have really no clue what they're talking about. And it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous.
Sounds interesting.
Yep.
What's one thing that gets you the most frustrated within the Pokemon investing space right now? Like, what is an issue you're dealing with in your own investments?
Frustrated with in the investing space right now. What's an issue you're dealing with your own investments?
I think that's I think more or less the question is just like, what's a part of the investing space that's always an annoyance to you? I have an
I
easy
mean, the
answer for
news
that.
cycles for sure. The news cycles, the emotions, the drama, the constant. That's probably the most annoying part for me. But like, there's no. I'm not really dealing with any issues. I mean, I told you guys like literally everything's up. Every single booster box from XY, Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, and Scarlet Violet is up this year, with the exception of I think Rebel Clash is like a little down, maybe even. Everything's up, and so if you're a sealed booster box investor this year, you're happy, you're making money, you're feeling good. I think the people maybe dealing with issues are ones that like got caught up in all these weird niche crazy products or bought in at the highs because they got caught up in hype or you know I don't know how you can be having a bad time in this hobby this year. I really don't.
Well, I'll answer this question from a different perspective. I think that for me, the most frustrating thing when it comes to the Pokemon investing space is liquidity. Like, obviously, when it comes to your investments, very rarely are you going to sell it at face market value. Like, I'm sitting on a lot of Lost Origin, obviously, and TCG player, I'd go sell it for 217, but I'm going to eat the fees, right? Or I can go sell it on like an eBay marketplace or a Facebook marketplace group, and I could probably sell it for like 199, and hopefully I don't have to pay the cost of shipping. But it's like that's also going to play a factor. Still selling it 20% below market, relatively speaking. So it's like that's what I would say is a frustrating thing, is having to deal with the liquidity. And this is coming from someone who's talking about high demand items. Right now, let's have a conversation about a lower demand item that you're sitting on that maybe you thought it was going to do better than it is, and now you're stuck. Like, obviously
Celebrations.
there's always an instance to take lateral movements, but even then it's a frustrating situation to have it tied up, because then you're having to make tough decisions on what you're going to do.
Celebrations.
Celebrations.
Pokemon Go, Shining Fates. Those come to mind.
Yeah, that's definitely a fact. Shining Fates was one for me.
You know,
Holy crap.
I'm really trying to like dissect this question. Like, what gets me the most frustrated? Like, I guess I just don't let. Here's the thing, Michael. I don't really let a lot frustrate me. I think it's because I'm like full time, and the YouTube channel is growing. I have so many people always reaching out to me. That's why I kind of said the emotion thing is people are just like they're fueled by emotions.
I wouldn't take the question too literally. I would say that, like, in the hobby, as Pokemon investing goes, what is the thing that is the most annoying to you that you wish wasn't an issue within the hobby, right? Like something that.
Okay, here I'll have one. I'll do one. I wish Pokemon would give an exact date or exact time frame on when they will 100% retire a set, no longer reprint it.
That's a good one.
And it doesn't matter how long it is, 2 years, 3 years, but give an exact date. Like if it's released November 1st, 2024, then it's 100%. We will never reprint it again after November 1st, 2027. That would truly be a game changer to this hobby. That's what frustrates me, is the not knowing.
That would be insane. Could you imagine that?
I mean, I wish they would. It needs to happen, dude. Like this it would stop the fear of like everyone constantly talking about it forever, right?
I think the reason why they don't do that though is like, well, I guess here's my thing, right? I guess they kind of do that, but don't do that, right? Like you obviously have, once it's out of the rotational cycle, it's not going to get printed. But I guess to your point, if hypothetically they did do a reprint and said from there, this is our last reprint, I think the reason why they do that is because, one, they don't want to make anything definitive, and two, if they did that after doing a reprint, there would be so much hysteria that people would start to like go dump a ton of money into that product.
I disagree.
You don't think that if word came out there was a Paldea Evolved reprint and people said that this is the last chance you're going to get, Paldea Evolved is not going to get printed from here, that it won't just start to skyrocket in value? I mean, because
they wouldn't come out and say that. So like even like AOK said, like if this happens, would there be more price gouging? No, because think about this: Sword and Shield sets, most of those are not even 3 years old yet. All right. And I'm not saying they come out in a statement and say this is the last reprint when it comes. All I'm saying is they give a date on when no more reprints will be had. So in between that 2 or 3 year mark, they could reprint it as many times as they want, as much as they want.
Well, that's
And
the
you never know
rotational
when, you still
cycle.
never know when the last one's coming. It may come 6 months out from 2 years. It may come the last day before 2 years. But I think just having that in mind, like, okay, well, I got at least 2 years, whatever. Like, I mean, I think, because think
Well,
about it.
that's
What
what
if you tried to price gouge it and you thought it was done, and then boom, like just before 2 year mark, boom, they threw a huge reprint and everyone got crushed again. I don't know. I think it would be pretty similar to how it is now.
Well, that's what the rotational cycle is, though. That's
Right.
basically what
If
they're doing
they
with
would
that.
just make the rotational cycle concrete and more and less of like a guideline, more concrete, I guess.
Well, I mean, I would say history has kind of shown it's more or less concrete, considering they haven't really broken it. Like,
Right.
I,
Here,
you
my best thing to say is not just this market, stock market, any market. The thing that any market hates is uncertainty. Any
100%.
investor will tell you that. It doesn't matter if it's going down or going up. They don't care as long as they're certain of it. As long as they know things are going to be trending down for a while and earnings are going to be bad, or as long as they know things are going to be good, rates are going to be cut, all that. It's like the same thing with Pokemon. People, they gravitate to more certainty and away from uncertainty because they're fearful of it. They don't want to lose money. And so I just think more certainty would be better for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely understand that. No, I get it. I mean, that makes sense to me. We'll kind of, I think where we are within terms of at least knowing, rotational cycle is pretty much it. That's at least something that gives me a semblance of like confidence in knowing how, okay, out of rotation, not going to get printed again. But yeah, it would definitely be nice to know like a little bit more transparency, but I understand why they don't do it because it's going to come with a lot of market hysteria. So,
You don't think like if they announced that it would be like news for like a month and then like everything else it would just kind of fade away and just become the norm and no one ever talk about it? Because here's the thing: when a set's like 2 or 3 years old, people aren't even talking about it. Like right now. No one cares about Sword and Shield. No
so
one.
let me ask you this. What in your mind is different from them announcing that this set is going to go out of rotation versus them saying this set is going to go out of print? Because once the set's gone out of rotation, it's never been printed. So what's the distinct difference in your mind between them announcing those two things?
I don't know. I guess it's the guarantee of a date. I guess you could say it's a guarantee. I guess you could say it's out of print or out of rotation.
Yeah, because realistically, Evolutions is like the only instance that I can think of where that wasn't the case. Every other set, it's literally been as soon as it goes out of rotation, never been reprinted.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like a month before the set like goes out of rotation, but yeah, never since then. I like this question actually. Have you seen the Evolving Skies ETB price recently?
And the Evolving Skies sleeve blister packs.
Holy crap, dude. It's insane. It just keeps going up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost at $200 for one of the printings.
It's crazy, dude. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. It's weird to think about.
I mean, here's the thing. It's like all these these other products to me are kind of like singles. It's like, if you want to play into all these crazy weird products, so the like check lane blisters, 3-pack blisters, sleeve blisters, collection boxes, tins, sometimes you're going to get lucky and they're going to do well. But a lot of times, like more of the times than not, the booster boxes are probably going to prevail. So it's just like, how much risk do you want to take, compared to like how conservative do you want to be? If you're more of a risk taker, keep you can try to play these and you can do extremely well. Or you're going to have a lot of the sets like that just they go stagnant and dead for so long. Like a lot of the Sword and Shield ETBs are just like dead in the water. A lot of the stuff, just loose packs, aren't selling as well. Like, so it's just one of those things that, someone caught the right time and they're killing it.
So this is a separate question, but I think this is just going back to the conversation we had earlier about alt arts and stuff. For some of the tag team cards that have still not rebounded, what are your thoughts on those? Like a good example is like the Arceus, Dialga, and Palkia alternate art. It's still down 28% on the year. It hasn't rebounded yet. And then same goes with the Solgaleo and Lunala.
I don't really have a good answer for that. I mean, only a handful of cards ever do well in singles, like from each era. Only a handful, right? Like singles are by and large a losing proposition long term. There's going to be good times to buy and then sell into strength. There's great plays you made in singles. There's businesses that are ran on singles. But as far as like a buy and hold long term, 5-10 years, other than COVID, right? Like singles just haven't always performed the best. They've seen a lot of their highs when the hype was the most, when they were brand new and everyone was just grading them and just collecting it. And I mean, some are a handful of cards, the most popular species, the most unique cards, those are going to do well, and most of the other ones are just not going to be that great of investments. That's my opinion.
So then, in terms of the ones that have retraced 30% and haven't gone up, are you not seeing it as a buy opportunity?
I mean, it's hard right now because, like you said, everything else has been rebounding. Like a lot of Sun and Moon cards are rebounding, and if those aren't part of it, I don't know. I mean, you could say like those, that's the way to go because they haven't hit their stride yet, and you could be right. It's just for me, it scares me. It makes me think there's something wrong. Maybe like people still feel it's overvalued for what it is. I don't know.
I just love that Arceus Dialga card.
I do
it's
too.
So sick. I think it's such a cool looking set card.
Hey man, I can't predict the singles market. If I tell us all the time, if I could predict the singles market, if you could, we'd be rich. Like we would just go buy all the singles we knew were going to go up, and then we'd sell them when we knew they hit the top. It's like the only thing I can predict with very very close accuracy is the booster box market. I know over time it's going to rise in price and it's going to beat out most other places you can put your money. Everything else, man, it's like playing the stock market. It's like buying single stocks. Some of the things are like buying penny stocks or buying altcoins. Like, are people going to have success stories every day? Absolutely. Are there going to be a lot more people that lost money? Absolutely.
All right, let's answer a couple more questions, then we'll begin to wrap it up here. Let's see if there's a good one you see. Someone asked me a question. Do I have confirmed numbers yet? I don't have confirmed numbers yet for surging. So I've had conversations with my distros on what we can anticipate, but I don't have confirmed numbers yet. It always changes. I usually don't like to say anything until I know for 100% certain, because the amount of times I've been told one thing and ends up being the other. And that goes both ways.
Trading Card 69 said opinions on if Pokemon is pumping out sets too fast. I mean, I think it's pretty much the same as it has been for the last couple of years.
Yeah, it has been.
I mean, yeah, I've always thought it was too fast.
It's not as fast as Magic. Holy
really?
Crap. Oh god, dude. By the time a set hasn't even, like, they're pre-ordering a set before another set hasn't even come out, which Pokemon does. But Pokemon, it's usually like, all right, new set release, new set's gonna be pre-ordered. For Magic, it's like, all right, deadline window for this set just ended. Now it's the new deadline window for this next set. Like, it's crazy how quickly it is. Like they're churning through sets with Magic.
Here's the funny part, right? Like, I can play devil's advocate on the statement, and it's like, well, obviously they're not pumping out sets fast enough because people still have to look forward to what else is coming. People still have to say, hey, I got to look forward to this set 6 months away, Team Rocket. It's like, maybe if Pokemon put out sets even faster, you would have too much to deal with here and you wouldn't have time to look at what's coming. I don't know.
Well, so
maybe we need more.
With Pokemon, so when we first opened the shop, right, which was back in June, it was Twilight, then Shrouded, and then now Stellar. In that same time period, for the shop, it has been Modern Horizons 3, Universes Beyond, Bloomburrow, and Duskmourn, and they're about to come out with another set. So it's like, within the same period, there's been at least another 1 or 2 sets. So, like, realistically, Magic does at least another 2 to 3 sets more than Pokemon a year. So, dude, we can't make price predictions on this. People are asking what our thoughts are on the Latios prices that are going to come out for the SIR. I mean, I have no clue. It's gonna be probably around at least $100.
Yeah, I'd say probably
Hmm.
150 or you know what? Yeah, it's impossible. Honestly, no. I mean, looking at Greninja,
Well,
I
that's why I said
mean,
it's gonna be at least over 100. I don't
oh
know
yeah,
past that.
yeah. It's probably gonna be up there. $300.
Uh,
It's gonna be between 1 and 500, guaranteed.
I don't know. I like I said before, I don't like throwing out numbers because it's like it's a wide range. Like I remember having conversations like hypothesizing around what I thought the Squirtle and like Bulbasaur card value was going to be, and I said it was going to be $40. And obviously, I was right on the Squirtle, wrong on the Bulbasaur. But even then, I'm still not far off because that one just kind of seemed apparent. Like that just seemed right. But like we're talking like a big hitter card, and the Terapagos, I was like, it should be like 120. Makes sense because it's a desired card, but it's not like a Greninja card. So I guess if you're
Yeah.
to say Latios, for me it's like 180. Like that seems like a an accurate prediction, right? It'll probably start off at like 100, then run up to 180, and then it'll kind of decide from there what it wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing,
Mhm.
guys. Like, I get investing in. I know a lot of people talking in the chat about investing in these other products and how they sell. Here's what you want to do, right? If you're going to be an investor and you're not going to be a flipper, right? If you want to flip this stuff in a years and you think you're going to make a play on it, yeah, you can do well if you're right, right? Same thing with cards. If you're looking to like hold this stuff for 5+ years, what I urge you to do is go back and look at Sun and Moon
Mhm.
XY stuff and look at like blisters and sleeve packs and boxes, collection
Mhm.
boxes, whatever you're looking at, and look at how much sell per month, right? So like if you look at a item, if you go look at like Team Up, right, and say, here, I'm gonna pull one up. Let's say I go to Team Up, and I don't know, you look at like the sleeve blister with Pikachu in it, right? The Pikachu sleeve blister, okay. Well, the problem is there's only been like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's been like maybe 15 sell last month, right? Like 15 packs in the entire month. Whereas if you look at the booster box and how many booster boxes have sold, and now remember, you'd sell 36 of those to equal one booster box. Where you look at the booster boxes, there's been, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sell. That's 5 times 36 packs. So dollar for dollar, you're way more liquid in booster boxes, even at the highest dollar, even at a $2,500 to $3,000 booster box, right? So you can say things like, "Oh, well, people won't be able to afford the booster box. They're going to want to pull, open these cheaper packs or these cheaper products." And like, yeah, there's truth to that, but you have to understand if you're moving in the same level of investment, like if you're going to invest in like a booster box case, or you're going to get the same investment level of these other things, you're going to have to get 216 packs, which is a full case. How hard is it going to be to move 216 sleeved or check lanes or whatever 5+ years from now? How much easier is it going to be to move a booster box case? And so that needs to be thought about a lot more than just like, oh, look at the margins, look at the gains. Can you actually realize those gains?
Yeah. It's yeah, no, I think you said it as best as you could. Um I think that there's one other question I saw that I liked. I think this is the one we'll end with. Um Later boxes are only 5 years old for Sun and Moon, approaching $1,000. Do you see this happening with Sword and Shield in the next 3 years?
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Um, I think my answer is no. I don't see that. I mean, obviously evolving, yes, but other sets, no. I think that you could see a lot of these boxes being worth half 1,000, but I don't think it'll be worth 1,000. Um, I think the problem is with this is that a lot of the prices of the Sun and Moon era were accelerated because of COVID. And I mean, same goes with Sword and Shield, but there was a lot more supply that was being put onto the market with Sword and Shield. So I think it's going to take a little bit longer for that to happen. I mean, they'll get there. Don't get me wrong, but like I would say that you're looking at in the next 3 years Most of the boxes are probably in the range of anywhere between 300 to 400 bucks, and then the top end ones, other than evolving, are gonna be in like the 5 to like 6ish range. Like I think realistically, like you'll see evolving at 100 or 1,000, and then I guess what Lost Origin I'd say is probably right around 600 a box at that point in 3 years from now.
All right, and let me bring the realistic approach back into this, guys. For anyone that like heard Eli say that and felt like down or whatever. Okay, let's put this into real terms again. Okay, Sword and Shield, the alt art sets at least, right? Chilling, Fusion, and so on. They literally were released in 2021 to 2022. So 3 years from now, him saying that they could be $300 to $400 a box, you're talking about sets that are going to be like, I don't know, what is that? 6 years old, 5, 6 years old, and you're going to see a 200 plus to 300 plus % gain on your money. Where else are you going to find that? Like anyone that hears those numbers and is like, oh man, they're not going to be 700 to 1,000 a box. That blows. It's like you're going to be up 200 to 300% on your money if what he said becomes true. That's crazy amount of gains.
That's it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
If you could get that anywhere else, people would just be throwing every dime they have at it. But because it's Pokemon, it's like, oh man, it's it. I was hoping for like $1,000 a box by then.
Yeah, yeah, it's craziness. I mean, right now I'm looking at my inventory. I'm sitting on 115 boxes of Lost Origin. If they were all going for $600, that would be 69,000 giggity dollars. That's
not bad.
Pretty good. In 3 years, if that's what were to happen, that'd be nice. That would be very nice. But all right, I think we'll just end it there, brother. I think that was a good stop. Going for about an hour and a half now. Want to thank everyone as always for stopping by. Make sure you leave a like, comment down below, subscribe. As always, check out Alex on this channel. Links down in the description below for that. Do you want to get access to Magic Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! At wholesale prices and other TCGs, feel free to message me on Discord. I can help you get set up for that. And then what else we got, Alex?
Stop by the stream tonight if you want to open some Shining Legends.
Let's do it, baby. Get something crazy for us. But yeah, no, I think that's it, folks. Thank you all for stopping by. As always, we will see you all next Tuesday. Peace.